Hello, welcome to MelMade. My name's Mel and this is a podcast all about the things that I have made. I am a hobby knitter. I'm based in the northeast of England in the UK and I hope the lighting's okay today. I've got various different lights. It's really gloomy outside. It is the end of January and it's raining. Probably lucky it's not snowing. We've just had a storm. We had Storm Eowyn 2 days ago, so that was lots of fun, and yeah, so we were lucky we didn't lose power, but the weather isn't great. But then that's the time of year. I am freezing, but it gives me a good excuse to wear a lot of woolen items. Before I go on, I should remember to say, I always forget, that my Instagram handle is at mellyart13, yep, and my Ravelry handle is at mellyart. It's been a while since my last episode. I meant to do one before Christmas and I had a big plan, and then just Christmas overtook things. I was busy knitting, I don't know, it just all ran away with me, and before you know it, it's nearly the end of January. Today I am wearing one of my all-time favourite knits. It's my Samfree by Marie Wallen, knitted in the recommended colours in Jamieson's of Shetland Spindrift. And because I said I'm freezing, although the radiator's on next to me and actually might get a bit too hot now, layered on top I've got my Kingston cardigan. I've completely forgotten the name of the designer. I'll put her name in here. I've talked about it in other episodes. I love this as well. It's knitted in Knitting for Olive, silk mohair and brown bear, combined with a yarn that I got in our sort of yarn amnesty from our wool group, and knitted, can't even remember anymore. I think it was knitted top down. I talked about it in another episode. I really love this cardigan. I am actually going to take it off because I was cold all day when I was out and about, but now I'm at home and I'm next to a radiator. I'm really feeling it, but that's good. Yeah, so I've got quite a few finished objects since the last time. I'm going to go for the Christmassy one first. I know it's not Christmas anymore, but you'll bear with me. So this was just a swip last time. In the last episode. This is the Caribou Crossing sweater. It's very pretty. Can you see? It is knitted in the top down, so you start off casting on for the, I think, sorry, it's a while since I knitted it now. I think you do a provisional cast on here and then you end up knitting up afterwards for the neck edge. Or maybe you don't. You have a look? I can tell it's bad when I can't remember. No, I think I cast on for the neck edge and I think you knit it in the rib and then you carry on. Yeah, just correct myself there. There's increases, it's obviously all in the round, top down yoke, and I'm really pleased I haven't got this on at the moment, obviously, because it's not Christmas anymore. It fits really nicely. I'll put a picture up here of me wearing it. I can't say how much I love this. I was dreaming of a Christmas sweater a bit like this, little sort of neutral colours, but really festive at the same time. I have added Swarovski crystal little extra beads. If you can see, I don't know if you can pick them out, so yeah, you can. They're there. When it moves, you sort of catch it. And they're on the reindeer's noses. I don't know if you can see. And then a few just down here. I didn't plan that, so I added them afterwards. You know, you're supposed to strand all of the beads onto the wool and then knit them in and do it in the proper responsible way. I didn't do that. I just got carried away online, ordered some Swarovski crystal beads because, well, I get to say Swarovski crystal, and obviously they're very sparkly and pretty. One of them's coming off there. So I had to sew them on afterwards. But you know when you're buying things online and you can't see the size of things, I was merrily clicking away going, oh yeah, they look dainty and perfect, and I got these crystals and I couldn't even pick them up with my fingers. I had to get tweezers, but none of my needles fit. Some lovely ladies from my knitting group had to help me with like the beading needles and the other needles, and then different thread because my thread was rubbish, and the way I've sewn them on probably isn't great. I've just done this through the yoke. I would have loved to, obviously every bead should probably be like, you know, sewn in properly and securely, and it isn't. But that's gonna, you can hear maniacal laughter. My youngest is on the phone to somebody in the other room and he's cackling like Dr. Evil. Yeah, so it was a big carry on getting these crystals sewn on, but it was worth it. I love it. I love how they look. I've already lost one or two, have come off, but it's not the end of the world. I could always sew more on. It's been blocked. Needs washing again after Christmas, but I wore it nearly all of December. It's knitted in Knitting for Olive yarn. So this is, oh gosh, it might be Snowflake for the merino, and then the maybe cream for the silk mohair. I think that's the colours that I used. I'm really pleased with the Knitting for Olive yarn quality, how it feels. It's cosy, it's light, it's delicious. The brown is, I'm thinking, I used the Brown Bear silk mohair that I had left over from the Kingston cardigan, and I stranded it with the merino in, I think it was called Cognac. So obviously slightly different colours of brown there that sort of combined to make this really warm, rich brown. I really recommend the pattern. It's by the Petite Knitter. I can't, honestly, I love it so much. Sometimes I think, oh, could I have knitted it in brown and had the cream, but I like the way it is. I think this is the colour she chose to knit it, and why mess with perfection? Could have, but you know, you could knit it in so many different colours. So you could probably have lower contrast and it would still look really beautiful. You could have more Christmassy colours. It's quite a boxy fit. It actually looks nice with skirts and trousers because I've managed to finish it at my waist, which I struggle with sometimes because I'm quite long waisted. You can do a little bit of a tuck at the front and it works. Oh, I feel really lovely when I wear it, and I'm really proud of it, as you can probably tell. So yeah, that is my Caribou Crossing Christmas sweater. Slightly too late, but you know, if you want inspiration for next Christmas, might be useful. Put that up there. Okay, the next finished object that I've got, I haven't got with me because I think during the last episode I was knitting my friend a cardigan for Christmas. That was finished in good time, I'm pleased to say. Before I knitted my Caribou Crossing sweater, I was very disciplined. And, okay, was it? I was about to say it was the Be Thankful cardigan, but it wasn't. I love the Be Thankful cardigan pattern by Lily Kate Makes, but it wasn't that one. This is how long it is since I've knitted everything. So I actually knitted the Good Grandpa cardigan using Cascade 220 in the shade, I think it was Natural, and or Cream possibly. One strand of that, and I also used Knitting for Olive silk mohair in shade Sparrow, which is a really cute name. It was a lovely, like, the colour of it, I think I talked about it last episode, but it was just such a light, lovely brown, but in a really good way. It was like a goldeny, gentle brown, and it gave this beautiful oatmeal colour that I know she really wanted, and it made the tension work. And I finished it with the coconut style buttons like I used for the Kingston cardigan, because she's a very rustic lady with those sort of buttons. I'll put a picture in here. I should have got a picture of her wearing it, but I think I might just have a boring picture of it finished. But I really recommend the pattern. I enjoyed knitting it. I think she's very happy with it. I think she's quite warm. And yeah, so that was a success. That's a finished object. The other finished object I have, again, it was a gift, so it is not with me, but I went on and on, if you remember last time, about my sister's hot water bottle cover. I was designing it myself, getting myself all stressed about how it was going to work out. It was like painting with wool. I mainly used the Spindrift leftovers I had from this and from other projects, and I was knitting it based on photographs she'd taken, or paintings I'd done of photographs she'd taken of the hills around her house and the sheep. And it ended up, at first I thought, this is just awful, it's going to look awful, but I knitted it, then I did some embroidery over the top of it, which sort of brought the sheep's features out, and I decided not to be too precious about it. It was just a bit of fun, really, and she's not really going to mind all that bit of purple might look wrong. She wasn't going to be like that. It reminded me a bit of pointillism with the Impressionists, because you're doing little dots of colour and hoping that when you step back it's going to look nice. But I finished it in good time again for Christmas, I added a little Made with Love button on the top, and I managed to get some pictures from her husband of her walking in the hills, and I ended up stitching it. You can sort of tell it's her, but maybe not as much as I would have liked to. But I managed to embroider a little picture of her on the back as though she was just walking on the hills. So I'll put some pictures up here. I was really pleased with how it turned out, and I think she really liked it. So that's nice. It's a very personal gift. Stressful to do. I would definitely do it again as a present. I just think I was really proud of the idea. I'm sure other people have knitted up water bottles for presents before, but I think that was a really good one, and I was really happy with how it turned out, even though it was blatantly just me winging it and not planning it maybe the way I should have done. But it was very satisfying because it was very creative, and you always feel happy when you've made something and it worked. It maybe didn't quite turn out as I pictured, but that doesn't matter. It sort of became something else, and it was really satisfying and fun to do. So that was another finished object. You know, when there's gaps between episodes, I always do this. I have so many. I've still got another, 2 to go with finished objects. Very busy episode. So, okay, I'll do the simplest one next. It hasn't been blocked yet. It hasn't stopped me from wearing it loads and loads of times. I got on with this at the end of Christmas. I already had the yarn for it. I think I had loads and loads of this Cumulus Pearl yarn left over. If you've watched previous episodes, you will know that I absolutely love Cumulus. It's very soft. It's a silk mohair equivalent. I've got quite sensitive skin, and it's a little bit thicker than silk mohair. It doesn't stop me using it all the time, and it's called Colour Pearl. Had quite a few balls, and I had my eye on this pattern for a while. It's the Sunday cardigan mohair edition by Petite Knit, and I'll put a picture in here. And this, again, I've not been very imaginative with my colours, but this is the finished item. Don't know if you can see properly. It has not been blocked. It'll probably look better when it's blocked. And if I get 2 seconds when I'm not wearing it, I will block it. But I'm an impatient person, and this has been so satisfying to wear because it's got these lovely balloony sleeves, and because it's so light, it goes over all of my knits. So it's been like snow, it's been wind, it's been ice, it's been lots of cold, and it doesn't matter because I've had this to go over the top, and everyone else at work has been freezing, and I've been there with my lovely knits looking smug. So it is knitted in 2 strands of the Fibre Space Cumulus. It's knitted all in one piece, top down in the round. Well, not in the round, I mean it's all in one piece, but you've obviously going backwards and forwards because you've got the gap here. The button band is knitted as you go along, and if I move my hair, you can probably see there's a really, I think it's quite an elegant solution to the shaping of the cardigan, because there's ribbing that just increases and then stops at the bust, and then you just carry on in stocking stitch. It's got balloony sleeves, so you knit sort of straight down and then decrease them at the bottom, which means I think that's the way I like cardigans. I like big sleeves because it's awful if you've got a dress and you put a cardigan on top and you can't fit it over, unless I've just got big arms. I don't know. Yeah, it's a good pattern. I mean, the bottom of it isn't as it advised. I think I sort of did my own thing at the bottom, and I'll stand up. I've gathered it quite a lot. I think I knit 2 together more than I'm supposed to. So if you can see, the back is sort of gathered. Ooh. But for me and for my body type, that worked, because what looks awful on me is if things flare out too soon above my hips, because I've got quite wide hips. I think it just doesn't look good. So I wanted it to nip in, and it probably nips in more than it's supposed to, but because it doesn't do up, it just curves it round almost like a bolero. So, excuse me, I think if you can see where it finishes at the waist, I can wear it with dresses, I can wear it over the top of jumpers. I think it was the amount of yarn I had as well. So yes, very, very happy with this pattern. I wouldn't say I enjoyed knitting it because I find it slippery to knit with the mohair equivalents. I've got my beautiful Chow Gu knitting needles, but they're metal and it slides, and so I think it's a lot of effort to keep the stitches where they're supposed to be, and you can't really get in an easy flow. But that's not the pattern's fault, that's just my personal preference. So I didn't enjoy knitting it, but that was, yeah, it was still a really good pattern. I really like the result. I'll probably like it even more if I could actually stop being impatient and just block the poor thing. But yes, very happy with that. I need some more neutrals. I always get excited and carried away with the bright colours, and oh, it's getting dark, isn't it? Can you see all right? I hope so. Yeah, that is another finished object. Now, I've got another complicated finished object here. So, a few episodes ago, I think I would have had on my SWIP list, my soon-to-be WIP list, this pattern. I'm going to put a picture of it here. Now, I haven't knitted from this pattern, but I did use it as inspiration, so I want to give it some acknowledgement here, because they deserve that, the designer deserves that. I saw that and thought, oh, that's interesting, and I was going to knit one for myself. Then my sister, she of the hot water bottle, asked me and my other sister for her birthday. She sent us a picture of a cardigan she'd seen. I think it was maybe on Temu or something. And I'll put a picture of the picture she sent us in here. And my other sister went, well, can you not knit that? And I was like, well, yes, probably be more expensive than buying that, but absolutely, I'll figure something out. And I went to the original pattern first that I showed before, that I was thinking of, but then the weight of the yarn was a bit different. The pattern was the stitch pattern was a little bit different. So I thought, well, if really what it is it's a strip that you wrap around yourself, and it's got like you wear as a scarf, or you can put your wrists through like some little cuffs. So really, it's a really long rectangle, isn't it? Like a scarf. And I was thinking, like, I don't need a pattern to knit that. I can figure that out. And the pattern that she showed me, I thought, I don't know if it was, but it looked to me a bit like a broken rib. And I remembered using that on a cardigan. I think it was my Great Love cardigan by Anchor Strick. I knitted a while ago. And I thought, I'll just use a broken rib pattern, and I'll find some wool that she likes the colour of, and and then I don't need to worry about tension or yarn gauge or weight or anything, and I can just get what she wants, and then I'll just do it, it'll be fine. And she chose Cascade 220, and I think the colour's Sweet Pea or Heather. Very pretty purple. And as you can tell, this is what we have ended up with. I'm laughing because it's so long. I'm quite happy with the stitch pattern. I think it turned out well. Cascade 220, it's like it's not an Aran weight. It's a worsted weight, a little bit lighter than Aran. The stitch pattern means it'll stretch quite nicely. Now the issue that we had, there's the cuffs. The issue we had, me and my other sister, although she was just sort of watching from the wings and sending more money for wool as I kept running out. The issue we had was, I had measured my sister, as in I got her to send me her inner arm seam measurement. So I had that, added them up, and then I got to measure right around her torso, added that up, and I thought that's the measurement I'll need. And I was wrong, because I didn't take into account the fact that this design goes over the shoulder. So I needed it to be longer. I've possibly now knitted it too long, because I've been measuring it on myself ever since, because I haven't seen her. And I'm a slightly bigger frame than she is, to put it kindly. She's very dainty. And I'm going to put it on and show you what I mean. I'm not undoing it, so I don't think she'll mind. She can always find something to do with the extra fabric, but this is sort of what's going on here. Then I think there's loads of different ways you can wear it. So it's wide enough that it can go over your shoulder. It's sticking nicely to the sunfree, so that's helpful. Oh, hang on, maybe it's not too long. There we go. Actually, wearing it over a jumper, I've only tried this on over like a vest top, so that's actually working okay. So this is, I know that looks a bit mad with the sunfree underneath it, but if you get the idea, it's supposed to be like a wrap that goes over the top of whatever you're wearing. And the idea was that she's got this lovely real fire, but in the evenings a draft can come from behind her, and she wanted something to wrap around herself. She might need I could send her like a shawl pin to help keep it in place, but you could do that. You could just do it like this, have it like a scarf, but put your sleeves in it, hands and sleeves I mean, have it like that. Or you could wrap it around your neck. There's loads of different ways you can wear it. A bit like a Japanese thing. That's sort of the Japanese patterns have like any which way you can wear it items, don't they? Just heard a noise. The birds are going a bit mad for the suet balls. So yeah, I've made it up. I'm fairly happy with it. I think she'll like it. I think it does fit her requirements. If worse comes to worse and it's really much too long, I could always unpick it and unravel it a bit. I'd rather not, but I will if she wants me to. The thing I'd change if I could knit it again is I think I should have thought more carefully about the border. It's a little bit messy. Can you see that? Oh, that's done a lot. You know what? Even in general, it's not the tidiest. I try to do knit at the end of each, but it probably, I mean, that doesn't look very, it's all right, just a bit, and it curls in, which isn't bad. But really, if I could do it again, I would have done something different, probably a couple of knit stitches at the end, or I don't know, slip stitches maybe. I've done some a slip stitch border just to keep it all a bit more contained. But you know, as complaints go from a self-drafted pattern, it's not too bad. What I would say is it took forever. Even though it was knitted in quite thick wool, it felt like it took forever because it was endless broken rib. And I would just laugh because I think I was at the end and it'd be like, no, another half a metre needed. And I'd be like, oh my goodness. It was very warm to knit because it cascaded, it cascaded over my lap. This needs blocking and I need to do it before she comes and visits and picks it up. But yes, that is another finished object. And another one that I am quite pleased with. I need to do some blocking urgently and wash loads of knits, and I keep putting it off because I'll end up with them spread across the floor. On to the swips. No, we're not even at the swips yet. We're on the whips, onto the whips. Oh my gosh. I have got, so we got through Christmas and I was feeling very decadent and very treat yourself. How they do it in Parks and Rec, treat yourself. I can't pull that off. But you know what I mean. I was like, I really want to knit something with a cashmere yarn. The last thing I knitted in cashmere was my Fable knitwear top. It was like a little turtleneck. Oh my goodness, the name of it will come to me in a minute. But it's a beautiful burgundy and I knitted it. I love Fable knitwear patterns, and that, I mean, I wear that all the time. It's a very fitted burgundy knit, very warm, very light. And that was in like an ethical cashmere from Badmer yarns, and that I think I saw on Fruity Knitting. And I was watching Fruity Knitting again the other day and I saw Andrea had knitted a beautiful jumper using Pamir yarns, which was again ethical cashmere. So I ordered a lot of it, and look, I got blue. This the Pamir, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it properly. In this sort of deep, it's called Deep Sea, Superior Deep Sea, 100% cashmere, tiny 25 gram balls, but you do get quite a bit. That's 105 meters because it's so light. And although it looks very thin, it actually knits up into maybe a sport weight. So you need to use it for needles. It's a 6 ply. So recommended needles 3.5 to 4.5 millimeters. So, you know, thicker needles than you might think with that thickness of wool, but cashmere does plump up once you block it. So I was very extravagant and I ordered some balls of this. And I am knitting my first ever Isabel Kramer pattern. I've got her patterns in so many of her patterns are my favourites, and for whatever reason I hadn't knitted one until now. So I'll put a picture of the pattern here if I haven't already. Beaufort 5 is the cardigan that I chose to knit. I took ages selecting a cardigan. I wanted a cashmere drapey cardigan that I could wear with jeans and a t-shirt, but also could maybe pop on top of a dress as well. So it had to be drapey but not too drapey, maybe down to my waist, not too long, obviously because the yarn's really expensive, so I didn't want too much yarn to buy. And I toyed with the idea of knitting a simple top a simple sort of blue cashmere sweater, but I think I get more wear out of my cardigans. They get thrown on a lot more. Not that I want to throw this yarn anywhere. And yeah, so so this design is knitted, I should say, top down again. There's a beautiful sort of stitch pattern on the body, and I think it's stockinette for the sleeves. And the stitch pattern really looks like, well, she thinks it looks like the waves, and it really does in this yarn. I think it's going to be beautiful when blocked as well. So this is as far as I've got. I have made a few mistakes with the stitch pattern, and you would think with such expensive yarn that I would be going back and changing it, but I'm not. It's a very deep blue. I don't think anyone will notice. I don't think I will notice. And it is because of the way the pattern is, the way that you knit the sort of twisted stitches in the pattern, it's actually quite challenging to pull out. It's not as straightforward as just it's tricky. And sometimes when I've gone wrong, I haven't even, it just takes one misstep, maybe 3 rows back. It's a bit like lace knitting, really. One misstep and then, you know, your new row's thrown out. You're never quite sure where you've gone wrong unless you go back and painstakingly unpick. And if it was maybe white or something really light, I might have thought I need to do that. But so far, I've got one row where it's sort of the pattern's out of step. I don't know if you can see. Let's look at all my mistakes. I don't know if you can even see. Good if you can't. But I don't think I mind. So I think I'm knitting the, I think you can click, you can see that I don't read my patterns ahead like I should do. I believe I am knitting the button band. I don't think there's going to be any buttons, but I'm knitting it along, you know, as part of the whole piece. And I think there's a little extra border that goes around the neck, at the back of the neck. So I've done 2 armholes. I'm about 5 centimetres away from doing the bottom ribbing, if indeed there is ribbing. Aren't I naughty for not checking? I don't want to do it too long. I need to be careful with the amount of wool I've got. I had to pay a horrific amount of tax on this as well. So this is the problem with the pickle we've got ourselves in the UK, especially if you want to order wool from abroad. Beware the import taxes now, but it's worth it. It's worth it. This yarn is so light and so beautiful. Maybe I had a bit of an agony, like, should I even be using cashmere to knit a sweater or a cardigan, because it's delicate, but I don't care. I'm just going to do it anyway, and then I'll rue the day if it all falls apart. But I will be careful with it, and it's going to be one of those cardigans. It's not going to be a close fitting cardigan that's hopefully going to get a lot of friction. It is going to be a little bit looser and a little bit more drapey, so my fingers crossed that it'll be okay. Perhaps if I knitted with this again in the future, I would strand it with a mohair to give it a bit more strength maybe. But I mean, I have no issues. The quality of the yarn's amazing and it's not like it's breaking. I just was looking at sort of reviewing cashmere online, on articles online, and some of them were saying it's for accessories that you're not going to use a lot, not for hard wearing. So we'll see. It's something I wanted to do for ages. It's a massive splurge, and got my little stitch markers every 5 centimetres so that I don't get disheartened. It takes a long time to do the stitch pattern for me, but I'm nearly at the bottom, and then I think the sleeves will be really fast because I think they're just knitted in stocking stitch. And I keep just holding it up and going, yay, I can't sit still with it. I'm very pleased so far, and I'm really enjoying her patterns, and I definitely will knit another one of her patterns. I think she's a great designer, and like I say, I've loved so many of her patterns for so long. It's amazing that I haven't already knitted one, so that's a nice thing to be able to say that I am doing with the beautiful yarn. But I had a plan to knit this beautiful funnel neck cardigan, and the wool I had was the Knitting for Olive merino. Okay, I got this beautiful Knitting for Olive lavender blue yarn in the merino, and I've got the matching mohair. Oh, look at that colour. And I was going to knit that peacock pattern sweater with it, stranded together with the mohair. But then I realised, after knitting the Caribou Crossing sweater, whilst I absolutely love the feel of this, I don't often wear this with the neck up. I will if it's really cold. Because I'm very sensitive skinned, I was turning the neck down or wearing a roll neck underneath it, like a brown roll neck, to protect my neck from the tickle. And this is the same combination, just in a different colour, that I got for this other pattern, which also has a high neck. And I thought, I don't know if I knit that. It's not the sort of top you would wear something underneath. It's quite a fitted, nice top. I would want to wear it on my own, on its own. And then but will I just never wear it because it will be too tickly? So I had a bit of a rethink, and I'm still not decided, but I saw I was watching Suits and I saw then Meghan Markle's character, Rachel, wearing this blue V-neck jumper, and it was just so beautiful. I love a V-neck and I haven't got very many V-necks. And I thought, oh, it's like I could knit myself a V-neck in just the merino, and I could probably wear it on bare skin and it would be okay. So then I looked for loads of patterns, and I think I struggled to find a pattern that I really want. I wanted a really simple V-neck, slightly drapey, slightly fitted, I suppose a fitted but a relaxed fitted, if that makes sense, not tight. No, nothing fancy. And then I thought, well, the reason I probably can't find a pattern is because it's so easy, no one wants to write it. So I have got, I don't know if I showed this before, my practical knitting book that James's auntie got me. She found it in a charity shop. It's amazing. I think it's from the 40s. There's some brilliant patterns in here, but there is I don't know if I remember it well, but there's some really good basics. So I thought of doing a V-neck cardigan. I like the 40s style as well. Oh my goodness, there's some really, really sweet old-fashioned baby patterns in here. Some really good sock patterns actually, I've just seen that. Hang on. Gifts for the men. So there's a really basic cardigan pattern there with a nice stitch pattern, twisted stocking stitch. And I thought, well, I could use maybe that as a basis for knitting it, or there's this one. There's a V-neck. That looks quite fun. I could use that, although that is for a man, but I could adjust it. It'd be all right. I'd have to do all the measurements anyway. And a lot of these older patterns make you think for yourself anyway. So, you know, I've had a look in here for a bit of inspiration. Oh yes, that's what I'm looking at. How cool is that? This is a cool one as well. I could see me knitting that. So I've had a look in there for inspiration, and then I thought, grow up, Mel, and just you can make, because it's easy. I'm sure it must be easy. You could make your own V-neck jumper. You've just got to be careful what to do with the neck edge. So anyway, I swatched. I say this so triumphantly. I swatched. I can't remember what needles I used. So what was the point? That's really silly, isn't it? What a waste of my time. Anyway, that is possibly on the cooker. It's percolating somewhere. It's marinating somewhere. Ready for me to have a go at that once I have finished my beautiful blue cashmere sweater, cashmere cardigan. There's also a SWIP to be. My eldest wants to go to university in September. They're putting in applications. They're waiting to hear. It's very exciting, but they've already said they want me to knit them a blanket for when they're away, which is really sweet. And they've selected, I'm like not very impressed with the colour selections, charcoal and grey, or yeah, charcoal, like almost black, and then a grey, and they want stripes, and I'm like, not even like a fun patchwork one that I could do them. But that will be a project to be getting on with through the summer, I think. Ooh, excuse me, I think all of the I don't know if I'm allergic to mohair. Every time I do this podcast, I start sneezing. I think it's because I keep pinging loads of like wool into the air. Oh dear me. And also my SWIP. I've been saying this for ages, but the Ada dress is a SWIP. I haven't done it yet, so I've got that. I've got the wool for it. It's a beautiful grey merino. Oh, the Shirley Payden design. That's very much on my list as well. I also want to knit James and Aaron sweater, and me a sort of cable sweater, and like an Alice Starmore one with her yarn, which is so beautiful. I want to use the Solan Goose with all the colours in it. I want him to have the Golden Plover one, and I want to knit everything, don't I? I want to knit a pattern tank top. I've got so many things I want to knit, but we've got to do one thing at a time. And I've already got the wool for, I've got the knitting for Olive Lavender, and I've got my one for my Ava dress. I don't need to get any more wool. I need to calm down. I haven't got the room. My jumping drawer's getting quite full as well, but it's a nice problem to have. Yeah, so that's about it for the knitting today. I don't really do, it's a good job I don't do acquisitions, because I'm trying not to sort of hoard wool like I was before. But yeah, January's been quite quiet. It was my partner's birthday last week and I took him to see a Specials cover band, and that was really fun. Christmas was quiet like it always is, and really very nice. Some of the daffodils will start to come out in the shops, which is good. So we've got some daffodils in the house, and just really hoping for spring soon, because I'm tired of being cold. Although I did want winter to come so I could wear my knits, so you know, you've always got to look on the bright side, haven't you? So yeah, let me know what you're working on, if there's anything you've made up yourself that you're having fun with, or yeah, if you loving knitting makes you appreciate the winter as well, please do let me know. And thank you very much for watching. If you could like and subscribe, it would really help my channel, and I will see you next time. Okay, bye.